Okay. Ani ledaydi vedava vaydili. Ani ledaydi vedavaydili. Ani ledaydi vedava vaydili. 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 Ay, ani ledaydi vedava vaydili. 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 Ani ledaydi ay, ani ledaydi vedava vaydili. Ani ledaydi vedava vaydili. Ani ledaydi vedava vaydili. Ani ledaydi vedava vaydili. Ay, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech hamelech. Ay, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech. Ay, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech hamelech. Ay, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech. Ubechem einav el hamel, Abba yalla melech. Ubechem einav el hamelech, Abba yalla melech. Ubechem einav el hamelech, ay, Abba yalla melech. Ubechem einav el hamelech, Abba yalla melech. Oy, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech hamelech. Ay, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech. Ay, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech hamelech. Ay, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech, Abba yalla melech. Good morning, everybody, and Shakoach Gadol to all the sponsors for this morning. Ashreichem, Bemet Ashreichem. And we're learning this morning in the sponsorship of the breakfast also. Leilui Nishmat for Yosef. Yosef Gidon Yaakov Ben? Abba. Yitzchak. Ten Nishmatot Tzvara B'Tzor HaChaim B'Ezrat Hashem. And Bemet Shekoach to everyone. Shekoach to everyone here that this is like I don't know when we started the Friday morning Chabur. I mean, we were still back in no, not Base Stone. It was the other Base Goodheart, huh? Base Goodheart. Anyway, it's been Baruch Hashem. It's been a while, and it's been for me a big bracha. I just feel so blessed. I feel so lucky. And Bichlal, I've been feeling so overwhelmed with all the tuv that Hashem has thrown our way. I was talking about it with Yossi a little bit, just very overwhelmed with the tuv, and we should know what to do, like we learned when we ended the Alter Rebbe's Maimer this week. We should know what to do with the light. We should know what to do with all the light. We should build those vessels for all the light that Hashem keeps on pouring down, all the shefa that keeps on pouring down. We should know what to do with the light. The Alter Rebbe says, what do you do with the light? The kelim for the light is Talmud, Torah, and tzedakah. The learning and the tzedakah that we give and that we do, that's the vessels to contain the light that Hashem keeps on pouring down all the time. We just got to get out of the way. Just to get out of the way. So, we'll learn for a little bit this morning, the last Friday morning, the last Erev Shabbos we have of the year. And we're also learning with love and sending love to our dear brothers that are right now probably in a car or in a stuffy van from where, Warsaw, Kishinev, I don't know from where, Moldova, right? Going to the Tzaddik for Shabbos, going to Rabbi Nachman's Chusya Gen Aleinu. So this is it's all family business. Everyone's looking out for each other. Everyone's davening for each other. We got everyone's backs, fronts, heads, toes. This is all, we're all in. It's en ma lasot. And we didn't decide this. Hashem decided this. So I'm just giving into what Hashem decided already. So if you have the Sefer, and if you need more, tell me. We'll try to make another order. This guy, it's so funny. When I walk into this farm store, in the Breslover farm store in Mea Shearim, so the chevra behind the counter know me. We're very close by now, but the chevra that are always like online, they're always look at me like, what? Walking out with like 25 books of Rav Yaakov Shech to try to explain to them, no, we have a chabura. We learn this as a chabura. I don't think there's any chabura. But it's not to toot horns, just a metziut. I don't think there is another chabura. The last time I went to Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter, I went with my brother-in-law, with Yehuda Hanekman, to take his son, Yakir Shlomo, to get a chalakah, to have the snip. And when I walked in, they had just put out his sefer, this Perush on Tehillim, which we've learned many pieces of it. I don't know if you know, we've seen many of his pieces inside. Yeshua's Essos, the name of the sefer. So when I was telling the Gabayim on the way, all these Torahs that the Chabura learns from they have such, his pilos, they have such wonderment and simcha. Like, what are these modern Orthodox cats and Efrat? Like, who are these people, right? Ki'ilu, kivyachol. And it's simcha. It's simcha. So the learning we do, if it brings simcha to so many others, it should bring simcha to ourselves. And I'm so happy you're feeling better in your back, David Yeshua. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Rafei Cholim. Okay, Daf Samich Tet. Daf Samich Tet, we're going to see, we're in the middle, this has been a beautiful parak. In the middle of Parak Zayin, the 7th chapter, in Yom HaChamadim. Once again, last Friday night, we were davening, when Avi Shmuel I never heard him that loud before in my life. He was breaking through anything that may still exist in the world. He was pounding through like a warrior. And when we got to Bishamru, again, Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, I heard a Oisi le'olam, another thunderous Osi le'olam. I couldn't believe it. Again, this is like Oti le'olam. This is between us and the Ribono Shalom, this Ot. This is what the chapter's been about. The power of the Ot, the power of this sign, power of this Brit, of a covenant. And last time we were talking about what happens if a person doesn't feel Shabbos. And we were talking about the Zohar Kodesh basically said, Shabbatot techol. He made a reference about sometimes people have a choladik Shabbos, where it's Saturday. They don't do anything wrong, but they're not really keeping Shabbos. No, sorry, what was the phrase? They're not mechalaling Shabbos, but they're definitely not keeping Shabbos. So he said, you have to believe at that moment, whether you feel it or not, inside of you, it's Bein Yuvim B'nei Yisrael, Osi Le'olam, no matter what. Like Reb Shlomo once said, sometimes when you're walking down the street and you see someone honking their horn on Friday night, really loud at you as you're walking down the street, just know, they're begging, can you please give over to me what Shabbos is all about. If you have really good ears, that's what you could hear. That's how he lived his life. Huh? No, but that's for sure, but that's Shabbos, that's Cholamayit Shabbos. Oh, that person. Oh, I'm saying that. Oh, that person in the car honking? It's okay. So the Be'ezah Hashem, we should have the ears to hear that when some, like Rav Tza'idi was once with us on Shabbos, when we were down by Beis Stone, and we were walking up, and he saw a bunch of us just stop talking to him, Divrei Torah, and one of our chaverim that was getting out of a car on Shabbos felt so loved and close, and he just couldn't understand, why are we now going towards a Jeep? And he saw it was so beautiful that we were just gravitating towards one of our brothers that's just waiting for a Baal Shem Tov kind of Shabbos in order for him to be plugged into Shabbos. And that's how we have to remember, anyone that's not yet in the Parsha, whatever that means, it's because what they're waiting for something just so exalted. They're waiting for like an invitation for Shabbos that they never got before in their life. And we are too. Part of us is also waiting for that too, you know. Okay, so that we're in the middle, on the Daf Samichet, on the right column on the bottom. In the middle of the page. Al Hashpa Se'aras HaShabbos Kodesh, Al Kol Bnei Enosh, how Shabbos comes down on all of humanity. Anu ro'im mi Chazal she'afilu am ha'aretz shemocher perot tevel. Okay, so what's tevel? What's tevel? What's the meaning of tevel? That wasn't mufresh, right? So what are you supposed to do with that? What's the halacha? No, but if someone gives it to you like that, you can't touch it. No, it is. So he says like this: a yid an am ha'aretz that does this, that sells peros tevel. Kasher be'emos hachol omer she'iser perosav ein ma'aminin lo. During the week, when he says I did afrasha, you don't believe him. You can't eat it, right? But im omer b'Shabbos al perosav shehem meusharim neman. But on Shabbos he says that the peros he gives you are mufrash. He is believed. It's a chiddush from the Yerushalmi. It's crazy. Why? Ki emas Shabbos alav. We hold based on this that the ema of Shabbos, the awe of Shabbos is on him. Ki gam am ha'aretz eino mishaker v'Shabbos. It's a very Danlakav's optimistic approach to life that even an am ha'aretz wouldn't be lying on Shabbos. So when Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter does this, he's not saying to us, okay, Chevra, try to find an am ha'aretz, right? See what your relationship is like with him, and then catch him on Shabbos, right? That's not what we're saying. We're saying we're trying to darshan out the pnimius of the state of the world on Shabbos. And here he's saying that in am ha'aretz, during the week, he says to you something you can't believe him. That same am ha'aretz that's not neman during the week, on Shabbos when he says what he says, he's neman. And this is, as you see, where he's not making this up on his own. This is quoting from the Yerushalmi and Demai. Okay, where does this come from, that you could believe this person on Shabbos, but not during the week? Ki benefesh kol ish miYisrael yeh me sheyeh. Shora b'Shabbos he'ara miyuchedes, she'mimeno ba lo yira milefonav yisbarach. Shmo en ma la'asot. On every single one of us, no matter who we are, there is a special light that comes down on us on Shabbos that wasn't before. V'im yesh ka'elu she'einam zochim lahargish Yisrael Shabbos bagalui, mipnei ha'etzev v'adikaon ha'ma'achirin esrucham chas v'shalom. But if you came into Shabbos, if you came into Shul Friday night, and you schlepped in all your schmutz from during the week, and you schlepped in the confusion, the anger, the depression, and the sadness, and I just can't make my way through. Has it ever happened to anybody? I cannot get in. I can't get in. I can't get in there. Aval behelem, he says, hidden deep down inside, shochnim etzlam kol ha'orot. Really inside of them, all the auras of Shabbos are in them. Ba'alinu rak la'amim b'zeh be'emuna pshuta gam bli hargasha mamashis. This is something amazing because I see this. You know how sometimes when you learn a few different things, and then you see that everyone's more or less speaking about the same thing. You feel like people are copying from each other, but it's completely different svarim, different eras, different centuries. This nekuda, I've personally come back to like 3 times this week in 3 different areas. This last line, Aleinu rak lehamin bezeh be'emuna pshuta. We have to believe in this concept that in them is Shabbos, whether we feel it or not. Gam bli hargasha mamashit. Also without feeling it. So to me, it goes very much against the way I unfortunately led a lot of my spiritual life. It's like, eschata, it's good, it's slichas, it's elul, it's barabim, right? What's a certain begam? And I don't know who else could relate to this. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. It can't be real until I feel it. I'm not going to do it until I feel it. That's the one. I'm not going to buy into it until I actually feel it. Emuna pshuta is looking at that as an absolute sheker, other side. It's the other side. And we see this, I see a lot of people, I don't feel like I want to make aliyah, therefore I don't think I should. Hatzlacha Rabbah, right? That's one, relating to our, that's one nekuda that's one angle you can go there. But really, our kesher to all the mitzvahs, and especially to the otot, and Shabbos is the one, right? I can't buy in, I can't really fully be in this until it's like something that I feel. And here he brings us back to the same nekuda. Slicha, zeloze, and one pshuta has nothing to do with hargasha mamashis. You feel it, B'ezrat Hashem, you'll feel it. Like, I mean, one time someone gave me really bad eitzah when I was dating. Like, sometimes I got bad eitzah, sometimes I had really bad eitzah. This person said to me, I was dating someone who, Baruch Hashem, I did not marry. It was like the second date, and I came home back to yeshiva. I was in a miftar. And this person, I said, it was someone I was learning with. I said, what was it? He's like, listen, I feel nothing. Like, good person and everything. Everyone thought this would be great for me. I feel nothing. Feel shmiel. You know, I'm married 10 years and I'm only starting now to feel something. Okay, so that's not worth, you know, that's, yesh dargot, okay? Yesh dargot. I don't want you to take it the wrong way. But on a pneumius dick way, of course, we said, we say this all the time. Ever open up your wedding album and look back to, like, let's say on your 5th wedding anniversary or your 10th, 20th, Beis Hashem. I was at a Shiva house yesterday. Nathaniel Warsha, he said to me, his parents were married 70 years. 70 years. His father's just nifter, 94. 70 years marriage. But let's go to the 10-year anniversary, 20-year anniversary. You open up the anniversary book, the anniversary album, and you're looking at each other, and you're looking at each other with such smiles, right? And you start laughing. Why are you laughing? What did you think? What you thought? Ma chashafta. What did you think that was? But it was tmimus. Were you feeling anything remotely close to what you're feeling now? But pneumius, it's impossible, because time, commitment, and avoda brings about those hargashas. But at every single moment, yesh mashu. But again, the hargasha, sometimes he's saying over here, Shabbos is not on, I don't feel it. I have to believe, just like in marriage, sometimes I just don't feel it. But what do I do with marriage? It's called a bris, a brit nisuim, it's a covenant.
Shabbat's a marriage too,
V'shama b'nei Yisrael t'Shabbat l'sot l'otam brit olam. Same inyan. Bein you v'em b'nei Yisrael oz hi le'olam. So I have to have emunah pshuta that this is my zivug, and I'm this person's zivug. That's on a personal level. And that's what will bring me in and make it deeper, make the whole thing, grow Be'ez Hashem with health. Our relationship with Shabbos is the same thing, but I have to believe that. Okay, so that was about a person that still can't get into Shabbos. But now what he's going to share with us is one of the most beautiful taiches of Reb Simcha ben Reb Shischa. Look what he says. Now, just know something. When they say that Reb Simcha Bunim of Pshischa was speaking to Anashim Pshutim, what do you think that means? Who's the Anashim Pshutim? So Reb Simcha Bunim, in his case, is a little bit different, because he was actually a pharmacist. Reb Simcha Bunim of Pshischa. So he really did have a kesher with the Amcha. He really did. We have stories about Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Nachman, playing chess with people in the streets of Breslov, in the streets of Uman. And those like sichot pshutim, where they said that during a chess match, when you play with Rabbi Nachman chess, like sodos habriya would become revealed to you, right? Simcha ben Reb Shischa had this Indian also. He would be able to converse with people. He'd have a really beautiful, if you read that beautiful, hard but beautiful book by Reb Miki Rosen, Zichrono Livracha, called The Quest for Authenticity. Highly recommended. It's a good Elul Tishrei book, but Bichlal, every day of the year. I don't know if you have it. Highly recommended. The front cover is an orange, yellowish portrait of Reb Simcha ben Reb Shischa's face. We have a portrait. We know what he looks like. Quest for right? Chaim? Quest for authenticity, yeah. מסופר שפעם אחת דיבר הרב הקודש רבי בונם בפשיסחה עם אנשים פשוטים, והגדיל בפניהם is godless Yom Shabbos Kodesh. She's making Shabbos big. The way he spoke about Shabbos big. I'm sorry to digress. This came up right now in my mind while we're reading these words. There are people that talk about Shabbos, they make Shabbos seem small. There are people that talk about Shabbos, they make Shabbos seem big. When did Reb Shlomo Katz have one of the greatest moments of nachas in his life? He was on a plane once going back from Eretz Yisrael to New York on a Motzei Shabbos, and some of his chevra were on the plane too. I don't know how this happened, but they were on the plane also. And some of his former friends from Torah Vadas, big yeshiva rabbanim, were on the plane too. So it was a lot of mix of worlds on that Milava Malka on the flight. So Reb Shlomo said he went, he asked his chaverim that he saw, that he remembered from yeshiva. He said, "Oh, how was your Shabbos?" So the Rabban, the Rosh Yeshiva said, "Baruch Hashem, it's good. Shabbos, Shabbos is Shabbos. It's good." He went back to the, of course his chaver are like getting peanuts and sodas in the the back of the plane. He said, "Hey, brothers, how was Shabbos?" Shabbos, right? How you speak about Shabbos makes Shabbos bigger, or can make Shabbos very small and very much not what we want to be part of. So he was saying that Reb Simcha Bunim of Shischa was speaking to a group of people. The way he was talking about Shabbos made Shabbos big. Okay? Higdil bifneim is gadlus Yom HaShabbos Kodesh. Ta'anu anashim l'umato. People said to him, "V'chi yesh lanu shaychus im HaShabbos Kodesh?" These pshutim say, what connection? We have a shaychus to Shabbos? Who are we? Halo HaShabbos Kodesh, shayach letzadikim hadveikim b'Shabbos. Who does Shabbos belong to? Shomerei Shabbos v'korei einig. Those that know what Shabbos is all about. Those that have learned Mishnah Berurah inside and out and know exactly what every nakuda is of Shabbos. What kind of shaykhs do we have to Shabbos? So listen to what he said. And this is an important yesod. This is very important for all of us. And we learned this one-liner. We learned this as a one-liner the first day we learned this sefer. When we first moved into the shul, it's already how many months? We moved in the week before Shabbos Hagadol, so it's 6.5 months, right? Bless you. Okay, you say you have no shaykhs to it? Let's see what you want to say about this. A simpleton, a simple person. Imotzi machat mireshut lereshut. A simple person, like the most pashto yid in the world, that takes a machat, a needle, and he takes it from one domain to another domain on Shabbos. That's all he did. Hu oseh kilkul atzum b'chol ha'olamos ad shehu nenash b'skila lechaper al asher shiches. No biggie. What did he say? What? The power of what? Of what you think is nothing? In the world of Shabbos is everything. So we know that to be true. We go to the other side. We know that to be true, according to Hilchos Shabbos, that if even the smallest thing in the world I remove from one rishus to another rishus, what's my din? My din is a very heavy one. So obviously, Rav Simcha Bunim is going to twist this to the other side. He doesn't want to make you feel really bad. He's trying to show you how gadol Shabbos is, but not just how great Shabbos is, how great your chelik of Shabbos is. How much your involvement or non-involvement in Shabbos is a big inyan. It's a big deal. Hine kichen, im yesh lachem shaychus, shal yedei melacha ktana shelachem nigram churban gadol kaze. Halo hagoya mechal Shabbos ein lo ne'anash kilo kilkel me'uma. If a non-Jew desecrates Shabbos, thank God he desecrates Shabbos. If he kept Shabbos, he'd have a problem. But if a non-Jew desecrated Shabbos, what kilkul? If a non-Jew lifts a building and moves it from one domain to another domain, what is he? What in the world of souls? What's his problem? Nothing. You removed a needle from one rishus to another rishus. What's your problem? The whole world. Think about this, Chavra. This is a very deep inyan. וממה שכל אחד מישראל בכוחו לקלקל, אם אתה מאמין שיכולים לקלקל, תאמין שיכולים לתקן. אם אתה מאמין שיכולים לקלקל, תאמין שיכולים לתקן. If you believe you have the power to destroy, then believe. You have the power to rebuild. That's what our Yiddishkeit is. So if you believe in Hilchos Shabbos, see, the person that says, I have no shaykhs to Shabbos, he doesn't deny Hilchos Shabbos. He just says, what's my shaykhs to the greatness of Shabbos? So you come to a person like that and say, tell me something, you're allowed to machal Shabbos? No, God forbid. Why? Oh, it's usher. Why? What's the punishment? Oh, this and this will happen to me if I mechal Shabbos. Listen to yourself. If you believe that by doing something so little that's wrong, why don't you believe that by doing something so small that's right and that's holy, you're not building the exact equivalent of what you mekalkeled? And more, and more, and weiter. Ro'im mizeh gadlus kol nefesh miYisrael, fourth line from the bottom. Al achas ka v'chama shemida tova meruba upashut sheyesh lachem gam hashaychus lekedushas Shabbos kodesh. It's so simple. You have shaychus to Shabbos. What's the shaila? What's the question bichlal? Imu mechutan lemechalale amos yumas hu gam ken mechutan im kedushas Shabbos. If you, this is a deep thing, because if you became a mechutan, if you bowed into the idea, if you married into the concept of I get punished if I'm being a bad boy on Shabbos, guess what else you did without realizing it? You also bought into the idea and you married the concept of that when you mekadesh Shabbos, you're fixing the whole world. You're fixing your whole life. You're building the whole world. Now look at this. Ka'asher sham'u ha'chasidim diburim alalu mefurash yotze mipi Rabbim HaKadosh. Now by the way, in the beginning of this topic, what were they called? Yeah, Anashim Pshutim. Funny here, when the Hasidim, they became Hasidim, right? When the Hasidim heard this voice from Reb Simcha ben Reb Shischa, Mal'a libam simcha gdola verakdu kol halayla. When they heard, they didn't just hear a cute vort. They became that vort. And they danced the whole night after hearing and learning and having such a ta'apucha. You have people that are from their whole lives and they really don't believe that they have shaychus with the godless of Shabbos, but they would never mechalel Shabbos in a million years. They would never. They would never they would never ever do anything like that. But if you ask them, Aliyah Seilama, all the deep inyanim of Shmir Shabbos, do you realize that your whole consciousness and your worlds, they shift up and you become someone so mekushar to Kedusha? They say, stop with the Baba Maisas, the Narishkeit. But you say to them, you bring them this word, slicha. Is it true you wouldn't chas v'shalom dare flick a light switch on Shabbos? Why? Because of the pachad and the ema? So, Habibi, it works both ways. You just have to open up your eyes that it works the other way as well. Buy into it. You already you bought into it on one side. Now it's time to buy into it on the other side. And I feel like that's what this sefer is driving us to do. I hate to use such it's like prost language even to say to buy into it. I don't mean, you know what I mean? I don't mean buy into it. I just mean that it seems pashut what he's driving us towards is believing in Kedushas Shabbos and our chelik in Kedushas Shabbos. Yeah, Eli.
This sentence echoes the same when Shema Mefurish, right? And the Kohen is speaking to the people, and the influence, just the mention of Hashem's name, and it's like the language just tracks it.
And then they fall on their faces.
They had not much.
How you korim al pneim ve'omrim baruch Shem kvod malchusam.
They had their Yom Kippur.
Right there.
Right there.
Nachon. Okay, one more paragraph and we'll finish because we have it's Erev last Shabbos of the year. V'yesh lanu lisbonen begodel haschus sheyesh lanu bnei Yisrael. Let's just look. It's the last Friday of the year. Let's look at the wondrous privilege we have with all the hachanot we have to do, with all the prep we have to do every week. Us, our wives, our children, the home, shul, davening, v'chol zeh. Just stop for a second and realize what a schut, what a privilege. We have Bnei Yisrael, krutze chomer v'gushe afar. These are words you usually hear when when it speaks about like the Musas farmer trying to get you to wake up and realize you're just a pile of, what's that? You're a lump of dirt. I mean, yeah, it doesn't usually help us, but here just he's like, wait a second, what are you? We're lumps of piles of dirt. I was at this thing this week with amazing gathering. It really touched my heart so deeply. It was in Gavna. It was a day of one of Rav Dov Zinger's projects. Rav Dov Zinger is one of the greatest secrets in this generation. He's not so much a secret anymore. It's getting out. But I was in this project where they got together in Gavna, hundreds of people, workshops for hours on the day of B'riyas Ha'olam and Chaf Hei. And the end of the evening, that ended with this amazing, incredible band of Mevakshim, this chevra from Tkoa, sweet, sweet people, and a few other chevra, and then Rav Dov Zinger and Rav Yossi Fruman, Rav Fruman's son, were like kind of leading the talking in between the nigunim. And then I had the privilege of going up and ending the night with them and taking from them. I took from them a lot. Rav Yossi Fruman was getting up and saying, when he was asked about, what do you think about Rosh Hashanah? What's your first memory of Rosh Hashanah? So he was saying, oddly enough, I actually remember before I was even in this, like before the world had Yossi Fruman. Now it's amazing how certain chevras, like, no one there was like, what? Everyone was like, oh, yeah. It's like, that's how you know, like, Am Yisrael is going through some deep transformations, 300, 400 people there, and everyone's like, good. But it's because I thought of it as like, he was speaking about, now I'm here, I'm, a lump of clay and dust that has a neshama in it, But really, this world was here before we were here, and it's going to be here after we're here. And we're just right now in the middle of it. But he says, stop for a second and realize that mitzias. And Hashem Yisbarach, fourth line, Berov Rachma v'chasadav, Tala b'ma'asenu es hizgalus kvodo Yisbarach b'chol abriya. God takes us, and he says, my kavod to be revealed in the world is dependent on what? On how you choose to relate to life. That's a very frightening statement. If we actually understood what that statement meant, that God said, I'm choosing that for my cover to be revealed through you and how you conduct yourself, we wouldn't be able to rest, not because we're beyond shpilkas necessarily, but also because what is simcha that I was chosen to be created, born, and that God decided this is how my name becomes greater in the world. That it's dafka through a person's gnus, dafka through a gnus, you learn a shvach, meaning dafka sometimes through saying something harsh, you could say a praise. We see from the fact that God's kavod becomes concealed as a result of us just not getting our game on and not loving like we know how to love and not having enough bravery of the heart like we know we could. As a result of not having our game on, as a result of thinking Torah was for yesterday, or minyan is for the frumies, or whatever it is, or tzitzis is uncomfortable, whatever we want to plug into that thingy, as a result of not being who we could be, Hashem's kavod is more concealed in the world. Well, what does that mean? So, miklal lavat Hashem ahin, mitoch gnus Hashem hashmach. So too, mochiach lanu. This proves to us. Ad heichan megia rum malas nishmasenu. This just shows us how exalted our neshamas really are. Because if, as a result of not being a neshama dekayid in this world, the world loses out on tasting godliness, and I definitely do too, it works the other way as well. Kari hagoy she'oseh chet, bless you, hagoy she'oseh chet eno gorem shum pagam. ורק אנחנו, בני ישראל, העם הנבחר, מחמס רום גובם גדלוסנו, כל תנועה שלנו מרשס עולמוס, הן לטב והן למוטב. Every action we do shakes heaven and earth. So I want to give us a bracha. We'll pause here. We'll continue. Raise Hashem in Tafshin Pei Gimel. Haba Aleinu L'Tova. I want to give us a bracha. And this is the most simple bracha. Believe in your Shabbos. Believe in that extra ounce at your Shabbos table. Believe in it. Believe in that extra moment of consciousness on Shabbos. Believe in it. Just believe in it, because there's no way in the world you would do something bad, right? There's no way in the world, chas v'chalil, you believe very much in the desecration, in the churban of things. We should have a year of believing in our Shabbos, and it should be a Yom Shekul Shabbos, and Hashem should continue to bless us with the gift of learning together. And Mekabel Shabbos kacha b'simcha v'hava b'rov osher b'rov tuv levav. And the world should witness, Be'ezer Hashem, like Reb Shlomo would sing, tomorrow will be Shabbos. The great, great Shabbos. The Yom Shekul Shabbos. And alavai, everything we're doing right now, we should bring back to our homes, to our wives, to our children, to our future wives, to our future children, those who need, they're still in the parsha of that, and that the learning should be mashpi on all the frat in the whole world, kol ha'olam kulo. Yeshar koach, everyone. Ileinu Hashem Elokeinu b'yahava u'b'ratzon Shabbos kodshecha v'hanchileinu Hashem Elokeinu b'yahava u'b'ratzon Shabbos kodshecha oy v'yanuchu bo kol Yisrael kol Yisrael mekadshei shemecha. Tomorrow will be Shabbos. Tomorrow will be Shabbos. Tomorrow will be Shabbos. The great, great Shabbos.